I am Shonda Ronen, and I work at the Bunker Hill Community Unit School District 8. It is a very rural school district in downstate Illinois, about an hour south of Springfield, so around the Edwardsville area. In our district, we have approximately only 600 students. And due to that, in my role, I am a pre-K through eighth grade principal. I am a curriculum director. I am the preschool coordinator, and along with many other hats. And that is just kind of how it is in most rural school districts. But I love it. I love playing all those different roles. And with our CIT, it was very important for me as soon as I got this position to make inclusion a priority. Whenever I got this role, there was no inclusion in our preschool. Anybody who had an IEP was automatically placed in a self-contained classroom, regardless of how minimal that IEP was. So inclusion was very important to me, and we immediately revamped our entire preschool program so that it was fully inclusive. We were 100% inclusive in our preschool program. That was important, and now we're expanding with our CIT this year. We're just in the initial stages of it, but it was very important to me to then reach out to the broader community so that they also understood the importance of inclusion in our preschool program and even beyond our preschool program. So I want to make sure that those views and that buy-in for inclusion is there, not just in our own school, but in our own community, and making sure that those students that are not within our school and those children birth to 5 are also being included in whatever setting they're at. And so it's been very challenging in some ways, but also I've seen a lot of rewards already in just our first year with our CIT. When I'm thinking about the community inclusion team, the number one members on our team, in my opinion, are the parents, are the families. We want to make sure that their needs are being met. They are part of our community. We want to make sure that they feel included. And we can send out emails to our parents and families to invite them in to join our community inclusion team. We can send flyers. We can send out links to make sure that they know that they're, welcome to come. But I found that the number one thing to make sure that these families feel included and actually want to participate is by making the phone calls, having those direct one-on-one conversations with them, telling them that not only do you want them to participate in your CIT and to be a part of it, but that they are the number one, member that we need on our CIT team. I make those phone calls. I talk to them. I've already hopefully built a relationship with them, so they know me. And that's what's nice about being a pre-K through eighth grade principal, is I've probably had other siblings and things like that in my school. But even if you don't know them, making that personal connection, reaching out to them on a personal level, making that home visit, I found that's how you get them on your team, is by really going out and recruiting them personally, reaching out to them and telling them that, hey, I want you on my team because your son or daughter, has unique needs. And we want to make sure that those unique needs are also, conveyed whenever we are talking with our CIT. And you, as the parent, know best your child and knows best what your child needs. And that information is critical to what we're doing with the CIT, because if we're not finding out what our families and our parents really need and what resources that they need to share, then and they're not part of that conversation, then we're missing the whole entire boat with the CIT. They are our community. It is very important on the CIT to create an environment where our families and those parents on our team feel heard. And I have a really great example of this. When our very first CIT meeting, we're creating our vision and our mission statement for our CIT team. And we have many different educators on our team, and they're throwing out words like, high quality, inclusive education environment. They're throwing out terms like IDA and IEP and these different things. And every single mission statement that we had the words like high quality, inclusive classroom environment. And one of the parents on our team just raised her hand and said, that means nothing to me. that phrase means very little to me. It does not resonate with me. And that was very powerful for us to hear. It was very powerful for us to get that voice. So that because we want our mission to be understood by all. And that is the number one thing that whenever we have our CIT team meetings is to make sure that the vocabulary, the language that we're using is understandable to everyone on our team, and not just everyone on our team, but if we want to voice our mission to others within the community, we need to make sure that it is understandable. So we changed our complete mission statement based on that sentiment. We also, whenever we're coming up with our action plans and our goals, we make sure that at each step of the way that we're including those parents, those family members to really say, hey, here's our ideas. But is this what you need? Here are our ideas, but is this what you're seeing lacking in our community? Or do you feel like, oh, we have tons of access to this in our community, but we're lacking something different? So that was another thing. They were saying that the wait list for technology and devices to help their child communicate, those wait lists were very long. And so, again, even our action plans shifted based on that feedback from the parents that, okay, well, how can we help to get those communication devices to you sooner if that wait list is too long? Where they were saying other resources, oh, we have ample, of those other type of resources within our community. So being able to listen to them, not only listen to them, but at each CIT meeting, making sure that you have norms for your CIT that include making sure that all those voices are heard and that you have that equity and voice with your CIT is very important. So making sure that whenever sometimes those educators get talking and you start to realize that you're leaving them out completely because where you're talking at is a point where they can't resonate with that. And so it's very important to make sure that your CIT is actually doing what is going to be helpful for those families. And that's been honestly one of the most rewarding aspects of having a CIT and working so closely with the parents and families on our CIT, because they come back and they say, wow, like, thank you so much for hearing me. Thank you so much for really meeting us where we actually need it. And that's the point of the CIT, is to help these families. Providing guidance and information to other programs who we work with within our CIT, and then even outside of our CIT with other CITs, is very important. We realized with our CIT work that we actually did not partner very well with some of the indicators about sharing and things like that. We're like, ooh, we're not sharing actually. And so opening up that dialogue, planning those meetings and those emails, making sure that we are checking in with each other with the different organizations is very important. We've kind of started that now where we make sure that we have a monthly check-in with the different organizations so that way we are sharing our different resources and making sure that we are a broad overall community that can help out our families and our birth to five children within our community better. The other thing that I think is very important is networking outside of our CIT. So talking to other CIT teams is huge, and finding out, oh, what are they doing and the different ideas that they have and how can we bring that to our own community team is very important. I'm part of like an early childhood leadership forum that meets monthly. Those types of things, like, yes, some months I might get on there and be like, oh, I didn't really learn anything new today, but it was great to check in. Other times I learn a plethora of information where I can bring it back to my community. I can bring it back to the CIT team and see what others are doing. I always say the best PD is the teacher down the hall, and that can be also true with our CIT teams. The best ideas, are often stolen from others, and that's great. We want those ideas to be stolen from others. We want others to be able to steal our ideas, and so to be able to be a part of those groups, those organizations, and stay active with organizations such as Early Choices and StarNet and all those different types of organizations is very important, because then you are sharing resources all the time, and sharing what works, what hasn't worked, what went wrong with our action plan, or this mission statement didn't resonate with our families, or this idea, actually our families didn't really need that. So sharing both the things that have worked and the things that haven't worked is only going to help every single organization get better. And even whenever I had worked together with Early Choices to start the CIT in West 40, to start our CIT, it was very important to me to not just think about our own community, but think about our broader community too. And not just our own county and our own town, because it is so rural, but then to look outside of our own town and our own resources that we have within our rural community. Oftentimes in a rural area such as this, we might not have those things right here within our vicinity. So we do need to look outside to other organizations, other communities, but then also saying, like, how can we bring them in to help too? Because we might not have the numbers when it comes to the number of children that we're serving birth to 5, but how can we bring others in is very important to me. So it wasn't very much like, how can I support my district? How can I support my small town of Bunker Hill? But how can we support birth to 5 within the county? How can we even grow even wider than that? As a classroom teacher, I always said, I'm going to give you a lot of knowledge, but if we don't get this knowledge outside of this classroom, it does very little for us. And so I would also say the same thing about the CIT. If we keep everything that we've learned within our own CIT, then what have we really done? We want to make sure that we spread it out even further. And the further we can, the broader impact that we can make.